Hello, welcome to the course UEC 001. In the previous module, we have discussed the various definitions, various parameters to be used in various logic families. And we have highlighted the two logic families, that is transistor logic and CMOS technologies. So in this course, we will be focusing on these two. And in this TTL logic, designing over here is the NAND gate. Okay. So basically, there are uh, several aspects. The first one is we can design NAND gate in open collector output. This is the first method. The second method over here is NAND gate designing with the help of totem pole output. And the third segment is the three-state output. So basically, the third one, which I have highlighted with red color, three-state output. We will not covering this in this course. However, the viewers can study by themselves for the additional knowledge on this. So let's start the discussion on designing of NAND gate in open collector output. So this is the circuit diagram for the designing of NAND gate, and here you can check there are total 3 transistors. Inputs have been connected to the various emitter terminals of transistor Q1, like in this figure. A, B and C is shown. However, it depends upon the fan-in. It is not restricted that the design is possible for 3 inputs. It will depends upon the applications and what is the fan-in requirement of the gate. Now the transistor Q2 is used to drive the transistor Q3, and we are taking the output from transistor Q3. So this is the small description of this particular circuit. In order to design NAND gate in open collector configuration, minimum 3 transistors have been required. So this is a summary. Like you can check, the multiple emitters are connected as an input, and these are for the transistor Q1, and the functionality of these emitters are it behaves like a input diode. So maybe you can recall the functionality we have discussed few numericals in previous modules while we are covering the diode configurations, the designing of AND gate and designing of OR gate, and the overall output which we are receiving over here from the collector terminal of my output. So for better understanding, let us draw the truth table of NAND gate. So as in our example, we have taken the 3 inputs A, B, C. So let me draw the symbolical representation also. So for NAND gate with the 3 inputs, this is the symbolical presentations, and I'm just marking the 3 inputs over here, input A, input B and input C, saying Y is the output. So mathematically it is represented as Y equals to A and B and C whole complement. So this is the mathematical representation of a NAND relation. Output Y equals to A, B, C whole complement. So now you can check from the truth table. There are total 8 possible combinations, and out of the 8 combinations, the 7 combinations having the situation when any one input is 0. So among the 3 inputs A, B, C, you can check from 0 to level 6, either input is 0. So correspondingly output will be 1. And there is only one case when all inputs have been at 1, 1, 1 logic, then you can check my output is 0. So in order to understand the working of my circuit, it is entirely divided into 2 segments or into 2 cases, where my case number 1 is, you can check if either input is 0, that means we are representing from 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 0 cases, the total 7 combinations. If either input is 0, then you can check from the output of the truth table. We have to verify that the output should be equals to 1. So this we have considered case number 1. And for the example, I have highlighted the term yellow. We will discuss this particular case when A equals to 0, keeping remaining two inputs B and C will be as 1, 1, 1. And we will verify that for this particular situation, we will have the output 1. And the case number 2 is if all inputs are 1, that means the last row of this truth table, and we will verify that for this particular case my output should be equals to 0. Okay, so this is the basic, this is the fundamental which we have represented in the form of truth table for 3 inputs, and we have to verify the functionality of NAND gate. So moving further, this is my circuit, and see one major difference. You can check in the previous case, this resistance was not connected. This resistance was not connected. We are taking the output from collector from the Q3, and which was the open circuited output. So externally we have to connect this load resistance between the output terminal, that is the collector terminal of transistor Q3, and a VCC supply 5 volt in order to have a pull-up output voltage. So this is the external hardware which we need to require to connect over here to get the pull-up output. Otherwise, if you are not considering this, then we will have a open circuited output. Okay. Now let us see the various levels for logic 0 and logic 1. Logic 0 is also termed as the low level. So from 0 to 0.2 volt is specified for TTL logic family for low level, and 2.4 to 5 volt range is specified for the high level or for logic 1. So in this particular discussion, we will use 0.2 volt for the low level, and 2.4 is the minimal value and 5 is the maximal value for the high level. And this RL is nothing but this RL is the external pull-up resistor which is used to pull up the output voltage. So let us see the case number 1, which I have told earlier in reference to the truth table. I have set the input A equals to 0. So I am keeping this input A equals to 0 and B and C both will be equals to 1. So let us see the functionality of this transistor Q1. What will happen if this A is 0? So you can check. If A is 0, that means the voltage level at this particular point is 0.2 volt. Now voltage over here is 0.2 volts. VCC 5 volt is connected. Some voltage drop will be there. As this is connected to the base terminal, so drop across this resistance will be lesser. So I can say that over here the voltage is large sufficiently, and which makes this particular junction, base to emitter junction corresponding to input A, will be forward bias. Okay, so this is the case, means one of the base to emitter junction will be forward bias corresponding to the input having value 0. So at the same time, let us find what will be the value of base voltage VB. So you can check 0.2 volt applied over here and voltage across base to emitter when it is forward bias. So voltage across here will be 0.7 volt. So total 0.9 volt will be available at the base terminal of transistor Q1. Okay, that means my transistor Q1 is on. Now in order to conduct this particular transistor Q3, okay, so we have to move to this particular path, and you can check in order to conduct this transistor Q3, one diode voltage of this Q1, that means the voltage between base and collector, then voltage between base and emitter of Q2, and voltage between base and emitter of Q3. These voltages have been required. And suppose if I am saying that the voltage is considering 0.6 volts, so 3 multiplied by 0.6, that means 1.8 voltage is required over here. But you can check how much voltage is available over here. It is available only 0.9 volt. That means my transistor Q2 and Q3, these two transistors are in off condition. These two transistors Q2 and Q3 are in cutoff mode. Okay, so our mainly discussion over here is transistor as a switch. Okay, so as transistor Q3 is represented by off, that means you can check my output is directly connected to a 5-volt supply. If I am saying that the drop across this load resistance is 0, that means this 5 volt is available across the output. Okay, so you can check. I have mentioned VB is only 0.9 volt. That makes Q2 and Q3 turn off. So what will happen now? As Q3 is cut off, so output will be high through VCC and RL. So you can check. We have verify that if any one input is 0, the output of my NAND gate is 1. So first case is verified. Now let's proceed to the second case. And what the second case is, if all inputs are at 1 1 position. So now we are talking about the last row of my truth table, and you can check when all these inputs A, B, C are connected to 0.111. For VB1 is 1 diode voltage, for Q1 and 2 diode voltage to Q2 and Q3. That means 2.1 volt. We require this particular voltage. As input voltage is 2.4 volt and VB1 is 2.1, so all base and emitter junctions of Q1 are reverse bias. So you can check over here the voltage is 2.4 volt and the minimal value, even we are talking about the minimal value, and over here the voltage is 2.1 volt. So these all emitters have been reverse bias. Now transistor Q2 and transistor Q3 both will be conducted and both will be in saturation mode. So as you can check, if transistor Q3 is in saturation mode, the voltage across collector and emitter will be equals to somewhere 0, but in practical case it will be near to 0.2 volt. So as it is of 0.2 volt, that means it is in the range of low level. So we can say that my output will be at low voltage. So my output will be low in this particular case. Okay. So we have verified both the cases. That means the transistor in this, the circuit consisting of 3 transistors Q1, Q2, Q3, where Q1 having the multiple emitter terminals, and in this particular network behaves like a NAND gate. So this is the first segment. We have covered how to design NAND gate with TTL logic family in open collector configuration. Now let's proceed to the second case using totem pole output. So this is the circuit diagram of totem pole output, and you can see that what is the difference between the two configurations. So over here we have taken the example. We are limiting our discussion over here to 2 inputs so that idea will be clear. In the previous example, 3 inputs have been considered. Now you can check transistor T1, T2 and T3. These are similar. Resistance, this RB, R1 and R2 were there. However, if you can check at this particular part, means to the collector of transistor T3, we have connected one external resistor. That was a passive resistor. So over here, we have replaced that external passive resistor by a combination of circuit, and as in this particular circuit transistor and diodes are there, so this is an active circuit, and this particular segment is known as the totem pole. Okay, so you can see that I have written the term replica of external pull-up passive load resistance with an active pull-up circuit, which included the 3 terminals, 3 components, one resistor, one transistor and diode, is termed as the totem pole. Now there is a question, what is the requirement? Why we are moving to the totem pole? Why we are adding so much complexity in this particular circuit? So the answer is this, the question, we require the totem pole as it can reduce the propagation delay from 35 nanoseconds to 10 nanoseconds. So there are few applications which require minimal amount of propagation delay. So in that particular scenario, totem pole configuration is preferred over the open collector configuration. And basically in this particular configuration, uh, the load have been considered in the form of impedances rather than the pure resistance. It has includes the effect of resistance as well as the effect of capacitance, and the charging of capacitance will be considered in the totem pole cases. Okay, so let's see the functionality of this particular circuit. And once again, as this is of NAND gates, so we will verify the function of this particular circuit into the two-step. For case 1, when any one input is 0, then we have to prove that my output should be 1. And the second case, when all inputs have been at 1 position, then we have to prove that my output should be equals to 0. So the similar two cases as we have discussed in the open collector configuration. Okay, let's see the functionality. So this is the first part of the analysis, and we have removed some portions of the circuit. And why we have performed, so you can just check. So we have started with the first case when at least one input is low, and in this particular case we have to verify that my output should be high. Okay, so what are the possibilities? So the first thing is, over here, remove the non-conducting transistors from the circuit. So in order to make my analysis simple, we have intentionally removed the transistors those are not conducting in this circuit. That means the transistors those are in cutoff mode, we have removed from this particular network. Okay, now the next part is determine the potential of every node with respect to ground. Now there are certain nodes, like this is the base terminal. Okay, the collector terminal of this transistor, this is the base terminal of transistor T4, like that. At several locations we need to find a particular voltage with reference to a common node, which is my datum node of the ground potential. And one can see that among the 4 transistors over here, only 2 transistors can be seen, transistor T1 and T4. This indicates that only T1 and T4 are in on conditions. However, transistor T2 and T3 are in off conditions. Okay, so now let's see the working. So in the first case, you can check, we have considered then any one input is at low condition. So between these two inputs, if any input is at low level, then what will happen? So you can check transistor T1 is working in active region. So suppose I am saying that my input is 0. If input is 0, then base to emitter junction will be forward bias, and as base to emitter junction is forward bias, so voltage across the base of transistor T1 will be equals to 0.7 volt. Okay, at the same time, my transistor T2, this particular transistor which I have removed already from the circuit, this will be in cutoff. Now there is a question, why this particular transistor in cutoff? So you can check, as my base current is flowing like this. Suppose I am saying that this is my IB1, and to this particular term I am having the emitter current, suppose IE1. Then as per the notations, this will be the direction of collector current, that is my IC1. That means the value of collector current will be, the flow of collector current will be inwards. And as you can check, the collector current is flowing inwards. That means the flow of base current from the second transistor will be in opposite, and that makes my transistor T2 in off condition. Secondly, the emitter current of transistor T2 is directly related to the base current of my transistor T3. So as transistor T2 is off, that means transistor T3 will also be off. Okay, so this is the working of the circuit. Now our goal is to find the value of output voltage over here. Now you can check transistor T4. This transistor T4 is on, as you can see the base terminal is connected to the power supply VCC through one resistance R1. Okay, so just because of this VCC and this particular resistance, my transistor T4 will be on. And if this transistor T4 will be on, then we can easily calculate the value of output voltage. We can apply KVL to this particular loop and it will be VCC minus drop across this resistance. That means R1 into IB4 minus base to emitter voltage of this transistor. That means VBE4 minus drop across this diode. And if I am saying that both transistors and diodes are made of from same material, then the value of VBE of this transistor and the forward bias voltage across this diode will also be same. Okay, so let's see the representation. I have written over there. My Vout is VCC minus IB4 into R1 minus VBE4 minus VD. Now you can check, as the flow of current to this particular resistance is my base current, and you know that the typical value of base current in microamperes. So we can neglect this particular drop, as the value of this drop will be very less. So if we are dropping this voltage across this resistance, then my equation will be simplified. Okay, my output value will be 5, VCC is 5 volt minus 0.7 volt minus 0.7 volt. So it is 3.6 volt. And this 3.6 volt appears in the high range. So when any one input is low, my output is high. So I have proved first case, that is my case 1 for this totem pole scenario. Now moving further to the second case, and even I have intentionally upgraded the circuit. And what are the terms why I have upgraded? Let's see. In this second case, both inputs are high. Okay, so if both inputs are high, that means I have to prove that my output should be low. This is the last row of my truth table. Okay, and what should be the criteria in this particular situation? So you can check the criteria is my transistor T1 will be on and it will work in reverse active mode. We will see in detail. Transistor T1, T2 and T3 will be on, whereas this particular transistor T4 will be off. So the transistor which is not non-conducting, it can be removed from the circuit. So in this particular circuit, transistor T4 has been removed. Okay, so now see over here the scenario when both inputs are at high level, 1 level, that means at 5 volt. So 5 volt is connected over here, 5 volt is available across the emitter. Some drop across this resistance will also be there. So just because of this, these two junctions, base to emitter junctions, will be reverse biased. Okay, so these will be reverse biased, and base to collector junction is forward bias. So this is the reverse case of active region. Therefore, this particular transistor T1 is working in a reverse active region, or in some literature it is mentioned that the inverse active region, and the cause is my base emitter junction is reverse bias and collector to base junction is forward bias. Okay, so the next part, just because of this reverse active region, the direction of current is reverse. That means the collector current of transistor T1, IC1, this direction is reverse. And you can check now from here. Collector current of T1 is nothing but the base current of transistor T2. And now my base current is sufficient to derive this transistor T2 in saturation. And you can see that the portion of emitter current of transistor T2 is driving my transistor T3. So transistor T2 as well as transistor T3, both will be on and both will be working in the saturation region. Okay. If now further you can check, if my transistor T3 is working in saturation region, that means the voltage between collector and emitter terminal is 0.2 volt. And if 0.2 volt is connected to the output, it is in the range of low level. That means my output will be low. So we have proved this particular term, that my output is low for the totem pole case. Okay. and we have considered both the situations. Okay, when either input is 0 and when both inputs are at 1 1 condition. Now there is one very interesting part. The part is, one can ask the question that prove that this particular transistor Q4 is in off condition. Okay, so let me tell you the things how to prove it. So for this you can check first. I have to calculate several voltages and I have to calculate the voltage of this emitter part over here. What is the value of VE2? So for this term I am starting from transistor T3. You can check. Emitter terminal of transistor T3 is directly connected to ground. That means VE3 equals to 0. And as this particular transistor is on, that means base to emitter voltage of transistor T3 is 0.7 volt. So value of VB3, that means the voltage of base terminal of transistor T3 is 0.7 minus 0, that means 0.7 itself. Okay, and this is connected to the emitter terminal of transistor T2. That means VE2 is nothing but my 0.7 volt. Also, the transistor T2 is working in saturation region. That means collected to emitter voltage of this transistor T2 will be equals to 0.2 volt. Therefore, collector voltage of transistor T2. So it is 0.2 plus 0.7. I have written over here and it will be 0.9 volt. Now, if this transistor T4 is on, if suppose I want that my transistor T4 will be on, that means VC2 will be equals to VB4. And if I want this, that T4 will be on, then the condition is VB4 should be equals to VB4 plus VD. So there is a diode also. So it is 0.7 plus 0.7, that means 1.4 volt. That means the voltage VC2 should be equals to 1.4 volt. But we have just calculated that the value of VB4, it is 0.9 volt. So as it is less than, as this particular value is less than 1.4, therefore I can say that the transistor T4 is off. Okay, so this is the working of my NAND gate. For totem pole case, we have considered two cases and we have verified both the cases. Okay, so thank you.